Good morning, everybody. How you doing? Welcome to the practice. So, for those of you who haven't had the chance to meet just yet, okay, my name is Dr. Sinan Gocmen. You're at Abundant Health Chiropractic. So glad you guys are here. Just real quick, show of hands, who's practice members? Yeah, just about everybody. Awesome, I love this. Guests, raise your hands. There you go. Cool, guys. Thank you so much for coming. Everybody, give the guests a round of applause, please. All right. The reason why we're doing this, guys, the reason why we're here on Saturday morning like this is because we want you guys to take control of your greatest asset, right? And that's your health, and we're going to get into that. And the way you do this is by educating yourself, right? Getting informed as to number one, what health truly really is, and how we can go about taking control of that greatest asset. So today's going to be a great day. We got a guest speaker, Ms. Katie Merritt, here with us. Okay, she's a nutritional therapy consultant, and she's going to impart some amazing knowledge and wisdom, some foundational things, about nutrition, right? We all know we have to eat, right? It's kind of an important thing on a daily basis, right? And we want to be able to make that good decision. And so we're really excited about that. We also have a special success story that is going to be shared with us later by one of our practice members and one of her clients. Pretty excited about that. So without further ado, bring in Ms. Katie.
Situated. All right. So good morning again. Like Sinan said, my name is Katie. And just to kind of give you a quick kind of bio on me. So I was born and raised in the Quad Cities, and I'm still here. I actually work over at Palmer College full time. On the side, though, I do nutritional consulting as well as some personal training. So I have a full-time job, but this is what I do on the side, either before work, after work, or on the weekends. So today, what we're going to talk about, this is kind of the outline that we're going to run through, just to kind of give you guys an overview quickly. I'm going to really talk about the basics of nutrition kind of at a higher level. I won't go too in-depth right now. I'll kind of build on that as we go through. If you guys have any questions during the presentation, you can either write them down and asking them at the very end of the presentation. Otherwise, if it has to do with the slide I'm on, go ahead and raise your hand or shout something out. I really want this to be beneficial for you guys and you guys to get out everything that you want to know. So if there's a topic I'm talking about that you want to maybe know a little deeper, just let me know, okay? So I'm going to talk a little bit about the basics of nutrition. And then I'm going to go into nourishing our bodies for specific activities or goals. So things like weight loss, performance, maybe specific health conditions. And then I'll move down to hurdles, so things that maybe are in our way when we're trying to set up something that's maintainable or trying to reach a goal. And then I'll go into the little worksheet that I handed off to you. It may be a little confusing right now because it doesn't really focus on nutrition, but I'll kind of tie those two together and show you how sometimes our personality and who we are can be our biggest hurdle in this journey to better health. And then I'll hand it over to Lauren, and then she'll talk about her story, and then we'll finish up with Dr. Sinan. And then again, like I said, if you guys have any questions, you can save them till the end. Otherwise, just go ahead and shout them out when you have them. Okay, so we'll get started. So my whole purpose this morning is to kind of strip nutrition back from being this very overwhelming, almost scary, challenging topic. A lot of times, and I'm sure you've had experience with this too, that the amount of information that is out there regarding nutrition, the amount of information that is out there regarding specific diet programs or protocols, or you should eat this, you shouldn't eat that, and then maybe a couple months later it's, no, you should eat this, but you shouldn't eat that. It can be very, very overwhelming. So anytime I'm sitting down with my clients, I like to just rehash that it really should be a simple mindset when we're approaching nutrition. When we kind of move our mindset in that direction, it becomes a lot less challenging for us and the burden doesn't seem so heavy. So when we look at nutrition, just as a basic definition, and you can read it too, it's nutrition is a science that's based off the relationship between living organisms, which is us, and their food. It includes the study of the biological processes used in consuming in using those nutrients effectively. So that's just the textbook definition. But what it really comes down to is that food equals fuel. So when we think of that and we kind of shift our mindset to thinking that what we're eating is actually what is fueling us, that can start the ball rolling in that positive, kind of more simplistic direction. So nutritional therapy is something that maybe many of you haven't heard about, and it is kind of, it's probably newer in a sense that in the last 5 to 10 years it's been kind of gaining some steam. And what nutritional therapy is, it is much like chiropractic in that it's looking at the root cause of specific conditions or just the way that we set things up in regards to nutrition and health and wellness. So instead of just stamping a diet program on you saying, you know, you need to eat this many carbs or this much protein or this many fats, we're actually looking at what's going on in your body. You know, are you having some dysregulation in your blood sugar? How's your skin health doing? Do you get headaches? Do you wake up in the middle of the night? Do you wake up hungry? We're looking at a series of symptoms and matching those symptoms to maybe deficiencies in your diet. So it kind of gives you a little bit more of a quantitative look at maybe what's going on in your own health. So a lot of times clients will come to me and they'll say, I have tried this, I have tried this, I have tried this, I'm doing everything I can do, I'm eating well, I'm exercising, I'm sleeping great, I'm drinking enough water, and nothing is happening. You know, I have not budged in my weight loss goals, or I have not gotten any better in my performance at the gym. What's going on? So that's when I get to kind of peel away this layer of kind of the tip of the iceberg and start looking a little bit deeper at what's actually going on in their bodies. So that's just kind of a quick little definition of nutritional therapy. It's a little bit different than, you know, a typical maybe nutritionist or dietitian would kind of assess. All right, so next up we're going to talk about the foundations. And the foundations are macronutrients. So those are going to be our bigger sets of nutrients, protein, carbs, and fats. So a lot of you may be pretty familiar with this. If you are, take this little nugget of information and the definitions that I'm going to kind of throw out here and try and kind of apply it to maybe your activities currently, okay? So, for example, you probably all know that protein is great, it's needed. If you're working out a lot, it's something that's going to help rebuild muscle cells, right? Or all of our cells. So maybe you just switched up an activity in your daily life and maybe you're doing a little bit more strength training and you're feeling like you're not recovering as quickly. So that would be a key indicator to you that you maybe need to consume a little bit more quality protein in your diet just to kind of support that activity that you're doing or that you're changing. Okay? So, like I said, protein is going to be really good for not only rebuilding muscle, but just giving the integrity of those cells, kind of giving it back some life. So anytime you're running or lifting or doing anything that is strenuous on your body, the protein in itself is going to be consumed and then it's going to rebuild. So that's why you hear it all the time talked about in the gym setting, right? Your protein shakes or, you know, how much protein have you been eating? And there is some truth in that, right? So anytime you're doing high intense activity or running or a lot of moving, yoga even, what we're doing is those muscle fibers are technically being broken apart. And to rebuild those muscles to just maintain status quo or to build them to become stronger, you have to fuel that. And what you're fueling that is with your protein intake. So sources of protein are going to be obviously all of your quality meats and things of that nature. A couple other things I want to mention here is that quality does matter when it comes to protein. A lot of protein nowadays are going to be filled with synthetic, ingredients or hormones. And the reason behind that is really these suppliers are trying to get their biggest bang for their buck. So if they can fill your meat with something other than meat, right, they're going to be able to sell it at a little bit cheaper price to us, but also for them too. So when we're consuming meat, we want to look at something that is higher quality, very, very minimal ingredients, local if we can get it, organic if we can get it as well. So carbohydrates are going to be our next nutrient that we're going to focus on, and carbohydrates are going to be your quick energy source. So a lot of times you'll hear runners say that they're going to carb up before they're going to go on their run, and that is, again, there's some truth in that. You're going to get a lot of energy quicker from your carbohydrate intake. In addition to that type of energy, you're also getting energy from fat, quality fats, and I'm talking oils, so coconut oil, butter, ghee, even egg yolks, butter are all going to be higher in fat, avocados, some types of fish. But fat is going to be your longer burning energy source. So if you woke up in the morning and you had something that was higher in fat, higher in that quality fat, that's probably going to satiate you a little bit longer than a piece of toast would. Okay? So, and it's just because of the breakdown of the actual molecular structure of these nutrients. So when you look at carbohydrates, when you look at fat, both are energy. Okay? So when people are eating a lot of carbs and a lot of fat, but they're not expending a lot of energy, that's sometimes where your issue is going to lie and where you may not see a lot of progress happen. Really, you should only be eating higher carb and kind of medium fat, or higher fat and kind of that medium carb. You can't really be doing both unless you're expending a ton of energy. Okay? So because you're consuming all this energy and you're not going out and doing anything with it, what that happens is that energy is just kind of floating around in your system and it gets converted to fat. Your body doesn't know what else to do with it. It has nowhere else, it can't go anywhere. Okay? So that's just kind of a quick rundown on the foundations. And a question I like to ask sometimes is, do single macro diets work? So what I'm talking about here is you maybe hear sometimes people talk about a keto plan or a high carb, low fat, or a high fat, low carb, or just a heavy protein diet. And you'll kind of hear this theme throughout the presentation that nutrition really should be individual, right? It should be specific to you. A macro diet could work for some of you, but I would never say you guys should all go home and try a keto diet, right? You shouldn't all go high fat. So that is something I just want to make sure that you guys understand, is that you're going to see a lot of stuff on the internet. You're going to see great benefits and successes to people who have done keto or have done high carb, low fat diets. That may not mean that it's right for you. So you may have something going on in your body that would maybe benefit from that, but also it could very well so hinder any progress. So making sure that you're just digesting the information that before you jump into any type of diet program, although it may be beneficial for someone, it may not be 100% beneficial for you. Okay, so we're going to jump into nourishing for our workouts, weight loss, and other health conditions. So I kind of touched on this a little bit when we were talking about workouts in a sense for protein, right? You want to be sure that you're eating enough food to get you through those workouts. That's very, very important. On the other hand, I have a lot of clients who will be really gung-ho about, getting their diet right, getting their workouts on point, but they're not actually eating enough. So what happens when you're not eating enough is that your body starts to become a little bit stressed out. Workouts across the board, your body takes that as just a very low-grade stressor, okay? So you have that stressor already in your body because you're working out, which is fine. Your body can deal with it. Now you're not eating enough. That's just another stressor on top of it. So now you're maybe a little more stressed than you should be. Then you add in maybe some job stress. Maybe you're not sleeping the best. Maybe you have kids who are stressing you out. And so now you're kind of shifted way over from this little bit of stress that your body can kind of deal with to high, heavy stressors that your body has no clue what to do with. Anytime we have a lot of stress in our body, our body's going to start releasing hormones. Cortisol is one of them. You guys probably have all heard of cortisol, right? So the body can usually deal with a low-grade stressor, like a single stressor, and then it goes away, and then the body kind of depletes that. But a lot of times our lives are so stress-heavy constantly. So we wake up, we're stressed, we end the day, we're stressed, and that happens maybe 5 to 6 days a week, maybe 7 days a week. So you have this constant influx of cortisol or added hormones that are kind of just being pushed into your body. Okay, and your body's not designed to deal with constant stress. So what happens is you have this cortisol kind of floating around, and your body, again, doesn't know what to do with it because it's so much, converts it to fat. So you hear a lot of times that the stubborn belly fat, and that's a lot of times where it goes. The body doesn't know what to do with it, converts it to fat. So when you're thinking about nutrition, I think it's also very, very important to think of nutrition, but also to think of your lifestyle. You have to set yourself up for the best possible conditions, and that is also maybe removing some of the stressors in your life. So back to weight loss and workouts. Again, we want to be sure that we're eating enough. We're not eating too much. In a sense, for weight loss, and I'm going to talk about this a little bit more in the next slide, and we're going to jump into a little bit more on sugar and a little bit more on hormones, so I'll get to that in a minute. The other one I want to touch on is other health conditions. This could be anything from chronic headaches to skin issues to those hanger pains that you get in the middle of the afternoon. What we're doing here and how we're nourishing for these types of conditions is that we're making sure that, let's take, for example, skin issues. So let's say your skin is, the integrity of your skin isn't great. Or maybe you have, acne and you're like, I should not be having skin issues. I'm, this age. Or maybe you're having eczema. So the skin is our largest organ, and what we're eating in our gut is going to kind of be produced, or you're going to be able to see it through your skin. So a lot of times when people have skin issues, it's not necessarily that they just have horrible skin. It kind of starts in the gut. And it also may be that the fats that they consumed maybe a couple years ago were just poor quality fats, right? Because fats are going to be what's going to make up the integrity of our skin. So in looking at other health conditions, again, we're diving a little bit deeper underneath the topical layer of just like, let's follow a diet plan, let's make sure I'm eating my macros, let's make sure I'm tracking my food. And we're seeing, what is the health condition? Is it skin? Is it headaches? Is it hanger? And then what is contributing to that? Is it their blood sugar dysregulation? Is it they're not eating the enough quality fats? Kind of digging a little bit deeper into that. So I wanted to touch a little bit on the hurdles that we sometimes see in regards to our nutrition. And the biggest one is going to be sugar. And I'm going to switch the slide really quick, and I'll come back to it. So I always write this on clients. When I talk with clients, I always get a pen and I just write this little graph. And what I'm showing here is the spikes and the valleys of our blood sugar, okay? So a lot of times when we're eating or consuming sugar, our body becomes used to it. It kind of wants it, and you probably all know that when you're eating a lot of sugar, especially around the holidays, you just feel like you crave more sugar. The more sugar you eat, the more sugar you want. You try to get off sugar, it's just a lot harder to get off. So our body is very, very smart, and it has an innate being, and it knows how to work and how to function, but it's very simple. When our bodies are tired or stressed out or in need of energy, it sends signals that, hey, I need energy, I need it quick. I know you're not going to go to sleep right now and rest me for 8 hours, so I need something quick and fast. And what your mind says is that last time I had that energy spike, it was from some sort of sugar. Maybe it was a candy bar at 3 p.m., or maybe it was, my Mountain Dew at 12, right? It goes back and it says, I got kind of an energy spike, and it was from what you gave me last time, and last time that was a great little energy. But what happens is, you eat that simple sugar, like a Mountain Dew or a candy bar, and your energy spikes, okay? Because it's a quick, refined sugar, there's really no substance in that. It's not going to sustain you. That's why you don't feel full after drinking a Mountain Dew or eating a candy bar. You have high energy, but in 30 minutes to an hour, you're going to be hungry again. So you have this high spike. Soon after, that's going to wear off, and you're going to have another low. So our body is constantly going in this back and forth of high energy, low, low, low. High energy, low, low, low. And when we have this much difference, I always tell clients that there's no way that you can hit any of your goals or your weight loss numbers if your body is in this constant state of stress and then depletion. Stress and then depletion. There's too much going on in your body to try and work normal functions. So what I like to do is try and get this high and this low a little bit closer to this midline. So again, sugar, stress, and sleep. Obviously, nutritionally, sugar is the big one, right? That is going to cause us not only to crave more sugar, but it's going to kind of give us those dysregulation in the blood sugar spikes. Stress and sleep are a little bit more lifestyle related, but both of those will contribute to our sugar craving. So if you're stressed out or if you're not sleeping enough, your body again is going to want some sort of quick, needed energy, and it's going to crave that in the forms of sugar. Okay? So again, making sure that we're getting adequate amount of sleep, and that we're making sure that our stress levels are maintainable and that we're not staying stressed constantly for days on end. That's only going to hinder a lot of our progress nutritionally, as well as any of our weight loss goals, as well as any of our goals in the gym as well. Okay, and this is, I think, my last slide, and I'll kind of go over the worksheet too. The actionable steps I like to tell clients to take are making sure that we're accountable, either to ourselves or to someone else. That is just going to help us really make sure that we're walking on this journey and that we're invested in it, and that if we have the internal motivation to stay accountable to ourselves, that's great. A lot of us don't. A lot of us need some sort of external accountability, and that can be a friend, a family member. It could even be a group online. An external accountability could also be tracking your food. So that's something that's outside of you that you're staying accountable to. Okay? So when you're thinking about developing some sort of goal or process or journey, making sure that you are accountable to someone is going to be incredibly imperative for the success of your health journey. Knowledge. And I was just talking to someone about this morning. And it sounds a little cliche when I say knowledge is power, but if you can learn as much as you can about the why behind the making of these switches, you're going to be further invested in yourself. Okay? The more you know, the more you're not going to be able to say, you're not going to be able to play, I don't know, I feel I'm ignorant to that. You're going to know the information, you're going to invest it, you're going to be able to apply it to yourself, and it's just going to make it that much more easy to really stay the course. Constantly digesting information, whether it be podcasts, these types of health talks, whether it be a book or an article, whether it be chatting with someone who knows this information, just making sure that we're consuming information, getting our questions answered is just going to further invest us in the process. And again, eating to fuel and feel good. When we come back, kind of what I said to the beginning, is that we need to simplify nutrition. We tend to get overwhelmed. We tend to think all programs should be all things to all people. But really we need to focus on what we're eating is what is fueling us. You wouldn't put Mountain Dew in your car, right? Because you would know it wouldn't work well, right? Your car wouldn't start. It would not drive. It wouldn't go anywhere. And that's your car, right? You would probably find more value in yourself than you would your car. So when you're thinking of that, you're thinking, what I'm eating is going to get me through the day. It's going to get me from point A to point B. It's going to make me feel great. It's making me feel good. I'm going to feel high energy. I'm going to sleep better. My skin's going to feel better. When we kind of change the mindset into thinking it like fuel instead of this, this tastes so great. This is, the best thing ever. I deserve a cupcake. Once we start changing the mindset, it's going to start being a little bit easier for us to feel good eating to fuel and feel good. All right. So last up, I just want to chat quickly about the worksheet. So I have included on the worksheet a couple areas where you can put your strengths and some of maybe the hurdles that you're facing in your nutrition or just your life and your health journey at this point. So what this is going to do, it's going to allow you to, again, write something down and be accountable to yourself. If you write something down, you're a little bit more invested in your journey, okay? And if you kind of go down the page a little bit, you're going to see some personality profiles. And it sounds super hokey, but what I've found with clients is that the deeper they can go in understanding themselves and their motivations and their tendencies and where they maybe fall off the wagon a little bit, by understanding you can understand the types of programs or accountability or motivations that you can set yourself up for so that you ultimately are going to be successful in this journey. So there's a link on that worksheet that you can take a quick little personality quiz. And Gretchen Rubin, I don't know if any of you guys have read her books, but she's wonderful. She has done a bunch of books, and she also has a really, really great podcast that I highly recommend listening to. But you go through this link, take the personality quiz, and it tells you kind of what type of personality you are in response to your motivations. So, for example, I am I think Lauren's an upholder, right? So Lauren is upholder, and on this graph you see that she does well with internal and external motivations or accountability. So in that you can see are you a rebel, are you an upholder, are you a questioner? In that you know that maybe a gym setting isn't right for you. Maybe you don't need external accountability. Or maybe, for me, I need external accountability, so I have to belong to a gym because I will not work out myself. So it just kind of gives you another reference point in setting yourself up for success. So take that when you have time, write those couple of strengths and weaknesses down, and keep this somewhere so when you are looking at starting something new, you can reference it at any point and just know that you're kind of heading in the right direction. Okay? And now I'm going to introduce Lauren.
Hi there. I'm just going to hold this. Yeah, if you don't mind. I'll break it. Hi, I'm Lauren. I am one of Dr. Sinan's practice members, and actually I've been working with Katie since early this year. So over the past 5 years, I've lost 145 pounds, which is like a lot. Thank you. Thank you. I've overcome quite a few things. Type 2 diabetes, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, tachycardia. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's really high resting heart rate, chronic migraines, just a host of other health problems that I thought were just kind of something that I just had to deal with. Like, oh, it's just my genes. This is just my life. There's nothing I can do about it. I really didn't realize there was another option, like a healthier option, but thanks to Katie and Sinan, my life has completely changed. So you really can change your life by just changing yourself and changing your habits. And so it's just been such a wonderful, wonderful time. So this is me 5 years ago. I was tipping the scales. I was, almost 400 pounds. I just had a laundry list of health concerns. I'm just 30 years old right there, or 31. A lot of things that someone that's 31 should not have to deal with. And I was really unhappy. I had a great social life and a lot of great things going on in my life, but I was so unhappy with the way I looked and the way I felt. And I was very overweight. But I wasn't lazy. I belonged to a gym. I've been doing CrossFit for a number of years, and I was doing CrossFit at that time. I've always been very active, even at my heaviest. So you can imagine how frustrated I was to be putting in so much time and effort at the gym, working out like I was, and to be almost 400 pounds. It's just so frustrating to, feel like you're doing everything right and to be so heavy. I actually got to the point where I thought, I guess gastric bypass is just the way to go. My genes are holding me back. I don't know what else to do. I guess I have to get my stomach stapled because what else am I going to do? So thankfully, call it fate, call it a blessing, call it luck. But actually in early 2017, early last year, I started working with Dr. Sinan and Katie, at the same time. It was kind of a perfect storm. And here at Abundant Chiropractic, and then also with Katie as far as kind of tweaking my diet. As she mentioned in her talk, everyone's very different. Everyone's diet is, personalized to what their personal health concerns are. And just, it has been a complete transformation as far as body composition and all of my health concerns. I've actually lost over just 100 pounds this year working with the two of them. And I don't have any loose skin. I don't have any issues that may have resulted in getting like a gastric bypass. So doing things naturally and the correct way has just completely changed my life. So here is now things are really different and so much better. So overall, I'm down 145 pounds. I still have about 30 pounds left that I'd like to knock back down. Over 100 since working with the two of them. I'm so grateful. They've just changed my life. I have confidence I haven't had since my much younger days. I have a renewed love of being active and for fitness. I mean, I love being active, but to be honest, it was kind of a chore, and it was not the most fun when you're so heavy to try and work out. It's very hard to do that. But now that I've lost the weight and I'm so much healthier, it's so much fun. I look forward to going to the gym every day. I ran 3 miles this morning. It's so much fun. So I am just so grateful, and I really hope that the two of you work with the both of them because they've just changed my life. So thank you for letting me speak. Thank you. Oh, yeah. So I saw that on Facebook, that Sinan, what is it? Awesome Powers. That's kind of when you're trying to get healthy and you're not using chiropractic and nutrition, it's kind of pointless. So thank you so much.
Yeah, we've all been there, right? It kind of feels like they're there right now. All right. Yeah, no, it's a good reminder. Cool, guys. So, what do you guys think so far, huh? Good stuff, right? And again, with what, Katie was saying, this is foundational stuff, right? And there's no one cookie cutter approach to, one's nutrition, right? No cookie cutter approach to one's health, right? And we know that if we do enough of the good things, we take the necessary steps and approaches, and we own our health, we get that result, we get our health back, right? Because who here believes that we're meant to be healthy? Everybody's hand should go up, right? Yeah, we're created to be healthy, right, guys? And it's all right to be just that. Being sick all the time, being tired all the time is not normal, right? It might be common for a lot of people because they've been living that life for a long time, but it's not normal, right? And that's the difference here that we see, and we notice that people who come into this office are action takers, right? They're people who are taking the necessary steps to own their greatest asset, right? So with that, what is health, first of all? What is health? How would you describe what health is? Anybody? It's pretty good, pretty good. How do you think most people describe or can quantify if they're healthy or not? Yeah, okay, being sick all the time, right? So, really simply put, maybe some people will say, what is it, for example, how good do you feel overall, maybe? Or how good do you look overall, maybe? Right? Is that kind of would you guys agree with that? A lot of people say that. Okay, so, we know health is not just the absence of symptoms. It's not just the absence or lack of being sick, right? If you actually search the definition of health, you've got it right here. Health is the optimal, everybody say this word? Yeah, functioning of your body, mentally, physically, socially, and spiritually, and it's not merely the absence of disease or infirmity, sickness or disease, right? The World Health Organization, right? So it's about how well is your body functioning, right? Because now you guys are all going to go work with Katie, right? Get your nutrition on track. That's a very important thing, right? But let's put it this way. Let's say if you're dealing with some digestive issues, if your body can't function and process and metabolize all those good foods you're now eating, are you getting the most out of it? No, you're going to be kind of, again, you want to be doing things that you're getting the most out of the efforts you're putting into it. We all know we should be working out, right? We should be exercising, but we want to make sure that our bodies are in a safe state to be able to work out so we don't go and accidentally hurt ourselves, even though we're trying to do, good things for it, right? And again, remember, guys, if you have any questions throughout all this, jot them down if you want. For those of you that love to use your phones, you can go to that website right there and type your question in. We'll answer at the very end. Okay, it'll come up. So, health is function, right? If you're, to get, as close to 100% health, you want your body functioning as close to 100% as possible, okay? So when we talk about function in the body, again, we're keeping this simple, and, Katie really noted on this earlier. And our bodies are, these amazing complex machines, but the output is very simple, right? It's very direct, okay? What controls every single function in our body? What's that? Yeah, my practice members know this, right? Yeah, it's your brain, right? Your brain and your spinal cord, your nervous system, central nervous system, right? So how does chiropractic tie into the central nervous system? Because you hear a term like that, you're thinking, gosh, like Grey's Anatomy, McDreamy, neurosurgeons, things like that, right? I did anyway in the very beginning before becoming a chiropractor. But it's simple, really, that our bodies are doing all these complex tasks all the time. Your brain is trying to communicate to your body to figure out what it's experiencing and then be able to process that as quickly as possible, right? Through these mental impulses, through communication from the brain down the spinal cord, and then out these things called nerve roots to every single cell, tissue, muscle, and organ in your body. The reason why you can hear me and understand what I'm